Yo, 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 what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Big D Energy. The single finger in the air of Sam Flannel. My name is Neal Ruhl. We got KG, that's right, Kenny is in the house.
Yes,
Spencer Raxter is here as well, ready to wrap up the Super Bowl. On a Super Bowl hangover Monday for a lot of people, namely Lindsey Hunter's San Francisco 49ers, who yet again come up short. And my good friend, our good friend, everybody's good friend, Sam Stick Day, had the comparison, and it's valid. The San Francisco 49ers, this generation's Buffalo Bills. Flannel, what's going on, man?
You know, they're definitely this generation's Buffalo Bills. This isn't the 80s anymore. This isn't that Super Bowl they won in the mid-90s with Steve Young. As of right now, the San Francisco 49ers are just playoff underachievers. And I'm not trying to diminish what they've done throughout their history, but they're going to look back someday when they go through this entire era with no Super Bowl wins and kick themselves because it's just not good enough. But you know who has been good enough consistently every single year? The Kansas City Chiefs. Another one. That's 3.
In particular, Dan Wood, and jump into that WoodwardSports.com chat thread. We'll use you guys in the show a lot here today. And Dan Wood, subscribe to the Woodward Sports YouTube channel, and he jumped in the chat, and you can do it too. As Dan Wood absolutely properly assesses, welcome to Mahomes Meat Riding Monday. Would you agree with that, Spenny?
Yes.
And how can you not, right, Spenny?
Yeah.
How do you not?
The dude was electric. And it's like, they always used to say about Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady, so like you left too much time and you put the ball in his hands.
Yep.
It's not going to end well for you.
And it didn't, because it never does.
It never does.
And the guy is a witch. And look, this is interesting, and I can't remember where I saw this. So and it may even have been. No, I don't think it was you. I saw this somewhere, but I can't remember where. So it's not an original thought, though it's something I considered. That Patrick Mahomes, while he hasn't had the best career in NFL history, could be the best quarterback that's ever played football in the NFL.
Yeah.
He's the best we've ever seen. What he is right now, and I'm going to get into it more on the next segment when we talk about his actual GOAT comparison and everything. He is post-first three-peat Michael Jordan. That's what he is right now.
Damn.
The amount that he has been able to accomplish in such a short period of time. I mean, in terms of seasons as a starting quarterback in the NFL, he's 50% on winning Super Bowl MVPs. He's already got 3 in 6 seasons, and he just tied Joe Montana, and the only person he's chasing in terms of Super Bowl MVPs is Tom Brady. And that is after 6 seasons as a starting NFL quarterback. And it's not even just about what he has done, which is put together the greatest start to a career of probably any team sport athlete in American team sports history at this point. It's about how talented he is, what more he could accomplish, because when it's all said and done, Patrick Mahomes could put up some records and some numbers and some accomplishments that will never be even approached. And we thought that was going to be the case with Tom Brady, but here comes old Patrick Mahomes almost halfway there after just 6 seasons as a starter. Absolutely unbelievable. One of the greatest athletes in American team sports history already.
And yet what are you going to say? I know everybody in the chat right now is going to be pissed and say, "Oh, here comes Sam Flannel.
Yeah.
He's meat right."
Yeah.
What else you going to say? What for real? What else are you going to say?
You got to accept greatness.
Hey, the only time he ever lost, and people are going to say, "Well, Brady beat him." The only time he ever lost, he was playing without Taylor Decker and Penei Sewell.
No O-line, running for his life.
I made it a point to say that when we did, because that's what happened to the man. Imagine Penei Sewell and Taylor Decker are both out for the playoff game.
Yeah.
Probably going to lose that one.
No.
I mean, there's nothing else to say.
No, there's nothing else you can say. And I get it. I know, and I wanna stop these people before. I will admit that it's not all Patrick Mahomes all of the time. Patrick Mahomes definitely benefited from a defense that only gave up 10 points to Baltimore and 7 points to the Dolphins in this year's playoffs. He also benefited from a San Francisco 49ers muff punt that basically turned into a one-play, 13-yard touchdown drive. Congratulations, MVS, by the way. You've definitely totally redeemed yourself in the playoffs. A different story for a different day. And
He almost dropped that touchdown.
he almost did too, but he was cradling that thing
Yeah.
because, man, he would have gotten clowned. And the Kansas City Chiefs, it's not just Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid is one of the greatest coaches to ever live. You've got Brett Veach, who I think is the best GM in the NFL. You've got Steve Spagnuolo, one of the greatest defensive minds ever at the coordinator position. Got a ton of talented players like Travis Kelce, who is the greatest tight end of all time, and you could even argue is the greatest playoff pass catcher of all time. A center in Creed Humphrey, a cornerback in Trent McDuffie, who was McDuffie Island last night. He was absolutely unbelievable. You got Nick Bolton. You got Chris Jones, who's a future Hall of Famer. You got George Karlaftis, a guy that they recently drafted. This is a great team, but Patrick Mahomes leads it all, and as of right now, he is the best we've ever seen, certainly the best I've ever seen, and the best that a lot of you have ever seen.
And you might not like that, like Chuck Brewer. Morning, Tammy. This is the rebranded Big D. This is now the Kansas City Sports Praising Show. Chuck, did you watch the Super Bowl yesterday? Yes, you did, because everybody watched it, Chuck.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
Shout out Terry.
Everybody watched it. I know a lot of you said you weren't going to watch it, but you did.
They lied.
100% you lied.
I was told.
I wasn't feeling it either. But guess what? About 3:30, I was looking, seasoning up the chicken wings and
Yep,
everything
yep.
like that. I was like,
Had the muffaletta going,
yeah, no doubt about it. Super Bowl was like, the 49ers were like, shut the fuck up, Neal. I'll be quiet.
Yeah.
But when it's time to put food on the grill, I'll be talking again.
Damn right.
Like that's the way it was. And I got into it. It took a minute to fire up the engines, but I got into it. And I really got into it. And in the next segment, I'm gonna discuss it. We're gonna go off the sheet a little bit because I have a scenario that played out to me personally that I want to see if it played out to a lot of the other people out there as well. Hey, Cat Spot. Mahomes is playing in Andy Reid's system. He's very good on his own, but he's only elite in Reid's system.
Oh.
And Reid's system is very good on its own, but it's only elite when Pat Mahomes is in it. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry if that bothers you, because there was a consistency.
Yeah.
Reid got to a Super Bowl without Mahomes.
Couldn't do it with Alex Smith.
But he's racking them with Mahomes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, Donovan McNabb and Alex Smith on line one. Those teams won a lot. Those Eagles teams won a ton in the early 2000s. I believe they went to 4 consecutive NFC championship games, but they only went to 1 Super Bowl and they lost it. Those Alex Smith teams, remember what the Kansas City Chiefs were before Patrick Mahomes got there. Basically, from their last Super Bowl, it was a Super Bowl IV, I believe it was 1969, till Patrick Mahomes, they had a lot of playoff heartbreak, and Alex Smith was the quarterback for a lot of that playoff heartbreak, at least in the mid-2010s. But ever since Patrick Mahomes got there, it's been a well-oiled machine. And one thing I also think that's impressive about Mahomes and why I compare him, why I think the Michael Jordan comparison is definitely appropriate. I nicknamed Patrick Mahomes on social media last night the Grim Reaper because he basically just kills everything that's in his path. I mean, think about it. The San Francisco 49ers, one of the great franchises at least of the last 5 years, they are 0-2 against Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl, and they are in shambles right now. The Philadelphia Eagles, led by Jalen Hurts, who was second in the MVP voting last year to Patrick Mahomes, they lose in the Super Bowl, although Hurts plays very, very well. He still has that one costly turnover, and now the Philadelphia Eagles are definitely left with an uncertain future, especially considering how they ended this season. You look at Josh Allen, somebody who was manufactured as a rival to Patrick Mahomes, is 0-3 to Mahomes and the Chiefs in the playoffs. You look at Lamar Jackson, who has the same amount of regular season MVPs as Patrick Mahomes, but in the playoffs, the one chance Lamar Jackson got, the Baltimore Ravens lost. And then in other years, Lamar Jackson's teams have not even had the privilege of playing Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs because they lose too early. You could go to Joe Burrow, and I understand before all of you say, but Joe Burrow beat him once in the playoffs, and that's true. But when the Bengals had a chance to go to the Super Bowl, they ended up losing, and the Bengals punted 4 times in the fourth quarter with a 20-16 lead. But nobody ever talks about that. And then the very next year, oh, by the way, Patrick Mahomes leads the Chiefs to a win in the AFC Championship game, and then wins a Super Bowl MVP. And I know, Neal, you're going to love this because it was something that was talked about, and you guys are lying if you say that it wasn't. Remember when the Jacksonville Jaguars went to Kansas City in the playoffs, and people were even talking about, Patrick Mahomes, he had his time, but Trevor Lawrence has next.
Yeah.
That obviously didn't happen as well. So
Neal hates Trevor Lawrence.
There is.
When's he going to do something? Do something. Do something.
But here's the reality, Neal. Every single quarterback in the NFL right now who is one of his peers has accomplished bupkis compared to Patrick Mahomes. He is so far above the second best quarterback in the NFL right now that the second best can't even see him. He can't even see the line. It is an Atlantic Ocean gap right now. And that's what you get when you have all of the team and individual accomplishments and everybody else that you're compared to has a minuscule amount compared to him. So Patrick Mahomes, he is the big, bad, grim reaper right now. And there's really nothing anybody's kid can do about it. And nothing anybody has done about it.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Obviously, there's a ton to get to and things like that. But I want to take this to the streets, Spenny. For real. Dom Rivera, 88. It's hard not to like Patrick Mahomes. Do you like Patrick Mahomes? Yes or no?
I think it's kind of easy to not like him. Like, he seems like a douche, but he's really good.
Real, because I don't get that from now the people around him.
I'm here.
Well, I mean that's the man's voice, Spenny. Now you're making it personal.
Yeah, that's fair.
But hey, that's your area. That's where you live.
He's likable. His family kind of makes him unlikable.
But that's not him.
It's not him.
See, like I do this weird thing where I can separate him versus everything else.
I feel it. But he's a product of that. And a lot of people would point to that as to reasons why they dislike the man.
And I'm just curious to see where the people are.
I didn't like when when they lost to the Bills because the offsides, the first thing he did was run up to Josh Allen and go, "That was the worst fucking call I've ever seen in my life." Like,
was it?
No, he was blatantly offsides.
He was
like a yard offsides. And so, I mean, just that kind of rubbed me the wrong way this year. Other than that, I'd really never had a reason to not like the guy.
Yeah.
But when I saw him, I was like, "Oh, dude, that's a bitch move."
I mean, there's definitely some chatter about his family and whatnot. I didn't particularly love that thing that Patrick Mahomes did where the very first thing he went after Josh Allen that says, man, that was a bullshit call or whatnot. But could you also say that the fact that his family is there, Jackson Mahomes, Brittany Mahomes, even Patrick Mahomes Sr., who had a goddamn DUI this week, and Patrick Mahomes is able to compartmentalize and still be the best quarterback we've ever seen, be one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, despite having all of his family distractions.
I heard about people talking about that.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to have an impact on him because he's a goddamn professional.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And your dad gets a DUI or whatever, so what?
Yeah.
And he kind of looks like Franklin, the turtle.
Yeah, kind of.
little Franklin energy.
Everybody, it's Franklin. Yeah, see?
Banger.
If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jackson Mahomes, and I meant to send this to you, Spenny, and this is my bad. Did you see the video of him picking his nose?
No.
On Twitter, yeah.
Like, just
digging. Now, Spenny's going to run. Spenny can't wait to run to social media right now.
Digging for nose gold.
Hey, Steve Brown. Moody makes the extra point, and that changes the entire direction of the game. So, Steve, you're telling me 35-yard kicks aren't guaranteed. If a 35-yard kick's not guaranteed...
Well, it was blocked.
Yeah.
I'm not going to...
Well, he shanked it. Like, you know... It was a bad 9-iron.
Oh, no, it definitely...
He
definitely was.
thinned
with
it.
his ankle.
Yeah.
He thinned it, no doubt. So is that what you're trying to tell me, Steve? Because weren't you one of those kick the field goal guys?
I mean,
that could still apply. I mean,
Well, I was
the
told they're
Lions
automatic.
situation is different, man. It was just like the tone where the game was and the momentum. You kicked the field goal in that spot to
Do you?
keep some sanity.
Because the Niners didn't, and it worked out.
I understand that, but there's two completely different situations.
I know. We're going to talk about one of those situations.
They didn't have the face, the ball bouncing off the face mask or the Jahmyr Gibbs fumble before that. So
No, but there are some angles of it that I want to discuss. Nobody in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Chief versus Chargers opening night. Is that for real? That's good though. I can hit
dig
the.
it.
Yeah, I like that. You got Harbaugh.
yeah, I could dig it.
Yeah,
That is cool.
Jim Harbaugh back to the NFL.
The Justin Herbert slander can hit the ground running week 1.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see the Chargers win that game, but that's very, very far in the future. But that would certainly be an one at Kansas City for them getting for the ring ceremony again. Maybe another team will go in and beat them on week 1. What up, Spenny?
Gross.
He was digging.
He was digging, man.
He was in there.
Can we play it for the people when we come back or no?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I do. I want to get in there, but I do want to talk about the Lions angle to this game when we come back. And this is off the sheet here, so I apologize to the guys, but it was something that overtook me, and I don't know if I should feel bad about it. I guess I shouldn't. It felt so good in the heat of the moment. but I want to discuss it with you guys when we do come back. Tell them about Dispo.
Visit Dispo Dispensary today for exclusive new deals and experience a team that curates an unbelievable atmosphere mixed with fresh inventory from Michigan's largest variety of products. Come through our stores or order on Dispo Dash today. New year, new deals, same plug. Dispo Dispensary, DispoShops.com, your local cannabis plug.
Feel alive during Feldman Chevrolet's biggest New Year's sales event ever. Get the best prices on our huge selection of award-winning Chevrolets. Like this 2024 Equinox for $188 per month. Or this 2024 Silverado for $268 per month. It's the New Year's sales event going on now at Feldman Chevrolet, Michigan's #1 Chevy dealer.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
We're off and running here on a Super Bowl hangover Monday. Neal, Ruhl, Sam, Flannel, Spencer Raxter, KG in the house as well. All of you in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread, jump in there, get your thoughts out there. And we're reacting to the Super Bowl, obviously. We got some other stuff to get to in the second hour. We have to start life without football.
Yeah.
We do. But here we go. Jackson Mahomes, everybody, in case you missed it. He was on.
Oh
he
my
was digging.
God.
It was aggressive. Can you run it one more time?
Yeah.
It was aggressive. Like that's a man that does that often.
Oh, yeah.
The confidence he went in there with.
Probably rubs it on his shirt.
And you know, he's right-handed too. He's using the more dominant hand.
napkin.
Did he rub it on the shirt? No.
Bro, you in a press
Did he
box.
eat
Get
it?
a napkin.
Did he eat it?
Oh, stop.
Watch.
Stop. Stop.
Can we take it to the streets? Did Jackson Mahomes eat that?
Oh.
That's
Yes or no?
gross.
No.
I didn't do it. That guy's 62. Oh, damn. John effing Lord. Hey, oh, damn, man.
Damn.
Detroit Dabber, the Fook. The Fug.
Oh, my God.
E-Fog 3 definitely eats it.
He did,
No,
yeah.
KG. He definitely eats it. So, hey,
Yeah, he did the slide move at the
Yeah,
end. He thought he was slick.
he did.
Oh, that's horrible.
That's gross.
You in the press box, man.
Here,
Napkins
yeah, I
are
will
available.
let me zoom in on it.
You in a suite, man. Come on.
Detroit Dabber 313. I'm actually about to gag. Please stop playing it. MPWMU Spalding Mahomes from the Caddyshack days. Anakin brings up a good point. I thought that guy was supposed to be in jail. No, that was his dad.
Yes, his dad.
Well, and before that, him.
Right.
Yeah,
He had his
true.
own. He had his own legal.
That
charge.
is true. Oh.
Did he slide it onto like the knuckle and like
Yes.
rub the knuckle
It's
across
the
the
face
lip?
rub for me, man. It's the face rub. That's
Is
doing
it safe to say that there is inconclusive evidence that he didn't eat
Yeah,
it?
the call stands. First call on the field.
If the call was that he ate it,
Yeah, the
I
call
cannot
stands.
overturn it
You
and say
can't.
he didn't.
No.
Gotta have more evidence.
The original call stands.
It's called stands as called.
But whatever, his brothers agree. 81% of you say yes, he did eat it. So, you know what? That was very heavyweights of me right there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
And it was fun.
It's a
Damn
good
it.
catch.
It was fun. See, I can do that stuff too, on occasion. DNC ENTA, nothing wrong with that. At least he didn't eat it.
He ate it.
He ate it.
He ate that shit.
We're standing on business.
And like, if you're picking your nose, like just if you're not gonna eat it, just shoot the rocket. You don't just shoot the rocket. Like,
You're right.
just close one nostril,
That's true.
fire.
Nobody's sitting in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know you just gotta assume that if you're him, you're on a camera's on you at all times.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
At all times
He's
you got.
eating boogers.
Yep, absolutely.
He definitely ate it.
Such a fall from grace.
He was on that cane. So that guy's 62. Honestly, wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So, all right. That guy's 62. That ain't right. No, it is right. Again, don't be mad at me. I didn't do it. He did. Danny G says the old pick flick. That is true. All right. John says if your booger held $50 worth of Coke, you'd eat it too. Is that true, Spenny? Spenny?
If what?
If your booger held $50 worth of Coke, you would eat it too.
$50. Jesus, that'd be a big booger. But
Yeah.
But yeah.
yeah, it's $50.
That's why I respect you, Spenny. If I told you once, I told you 100 times.
Yeah.
You're honest.
I stand on business.
You stand on business, man. Absolutely. All right. I did want to talk about this angle. And I want to know if I'm wrong and if I'm being spiteful or not. I told you I got into it at about 3:30.
Sure.
And I start, get the grill going, crack a drink, all that kind of stuff. And it became the Super Bowl again. It was a fight to get to that point, though. We were all sad. A lot of you said you weren't going to watch it. You did. Don't lie. Don't lie.
Don't lie.
But as the game went on, and especially in the second half, after halftime, after Usher, I thought, did a great job.
Yeah.
Thought it was great. But anyway, we'll get to that later. Flannel, I became irrational about my hatred for the 49ers, and thus a byproduct of that is rooting for the only team that can beat them in the game, the Kansas City Chiefs. And got on the Patrick Mahomes meat riding campaign right along with Sam Flannel. And it was irrational. And I was surprised at myself. You know when you're in the moment of something and you'll step outside yourself and you'll say, hey, man, get it together.
Yeah.
I couldn't.
Your carnal instincts kicked in.
Yeah, it did. And this is going to sound bad, but as players were leaving the game for the 49ers, I was happy. Not that they were hurt. I was happy that the good players were gone because it affected their chances of winning. I became a flat-out 49ers hater. I was the Silky Johnson of the San Francisco 49ers. I hated them, and I wanted them to lose, and I couldn't wait for them to lose. And they lost in the grandest fashion possible, too, to make me the happiest.
I would just ask one question. Did it have to do with the fact that you felt like the Lions had a chance to be there and weren't because the 49ers won?
Oh, absolutely. All of it.
All of it? Okay.
You want to make it an either or? I don't even know what your second
yeah.
thing's going to be. Yes. What was your second thing going to be?
It was just going to say that you still wanted to consider the 49ers the team that hadn't won anything in this era. And you didn't
That
want
was
to hear,
part of it, too.
And you also didn't want to hear any, is Brock Purdy the best quarterback in the NFL discourse?
That was part of it,
yeah,
too.
So I get what you're saying. The 49ers, they're... With me, it had to do, well, obviously I'm different because I want Patrick Mahomes to usurp all of Tom Brady's accomplishments and be considered the undisputed GOAT, but I can definitely understand. I didn't want Brock Purdy to win a Super Bowl. I certainly didn't want him to get a Super Bowl MVP for damn sure.
Why?
Because...
What's wrong? What did Brock Purdy do, man?
No, it's nothing Brock Purdy did because I actually respect him more than some. I think he's actually a pretty good quarterback. But when you look at that game in particular, you know what the narrative would be, even if it's a little bit of a flawed narrative, to say the least, that, Patrick Mahomes is great, but he couldn't even beat Brock Purdy.
That's true.
I know that was going to happen. And then the 49ers were going to basically validate everything that they had accomplished previous, starting with 2019, even if you want to go all the way back to the Jim Harbaugh days. But they didn't. They didn't get that chance because they are seen as a team that underachieved in terms of winning Super Bowls. And I think... And I'm not necessarily a 49ers hater, but I think that's a narrative, especially given the fact that they're in the NFC. That is something that us Lions fans right now can hold on to. And we can look at a guy like Kyle Shanahan, for example. We can still look at him as, if you're going to put it nicely, a playoff underachiever. If you're going to put it in a way that is a little bit more blunt, a playoff choker. Yes.
Reggie Hands.
Choker.
100%.
Because
you can do that.
Because
you can do that.
Look, guys, too, and I knew this was going to happen today, because here's the deal. When you get to the Super Bowl and you get there multiple times and you lose, that's the only label you get. That's why I love the Super Bowl. It's all or nothing. That's why I love the NFL playoffs. Your legacy is written or tarnished, depending on what happens. That's what makes the Super Bowl great. That's why America celebrates it, because that's what we are. All or nothing. You suck or you're the best. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the nature of a one-game showdown for everything. And guess what, Kyle Shanahan? You choked again. You know how I know? You didn't win. Maybe curve the bill a little next time. See if that helps. I don't know. It's got to be something, right?
And I'll tell you what, and we might get into it deeper. I'm not going to do my deep dive quite yet on it, but Kyle Shanahan's offenses definitely played a role in both Super Bowls that he's lost with the 49ers, and certainly a huge role in the game the Falcons blew in the Super Bowl following the 2016 season to the New England Patriots, especially, definitely in the second half. So Kyle Shanahan has some playoff demons, but if the 49ers would have won, we'd be talking about him as a future Hall of Fame coach. We'd be talking about him as he's right up there with McVay. He's chasing Andy Reid because he's so young and obviously a great offensive mind as well. But now we're talking about Kyle Shanahan as somebody who can't win the big one. We're talking about the San Francisco 49ers franchise as, even though they were the team of the 80s, obviously, in terms of right now, can't win the big one. They've won a Super Bowl less recently than the Dallas Cowboys won a Super Bowl more recently than the San Francisco 49ers. But the 49ers get this shine like they're some elite franchise, which they've been to 3 recently, but they haven't won any of them. And the fact that they got a little bit of, and I don't know how much I put stock into this, but some Lions fans, if you want to say that the 49ers got a little comeuppance and that we didn't want to see the team that beat the Lions win the Super Bowl, I get that angle too. But for me, it's a little bit different because I'm a Mahomes fan. I'm just trying to understand and kind of where everybody's mindset is at, because I can understand the 49er dislike as well.
No, but that's just how I got. Animo says all this Holmes fellation is too much. I'm out. So can we just ask the people, as a Lions fan, did you find yourself rooting for the Chiefs? Because I did, and I was like emotionally invested in it. And I the overriding reason was it because the 49ers beat the Lions? Yeah, I guess it surfaced like that's the main reason behind it. But I think the biggest reason behind it was because I know that we're there now. Like now I feel, going into next year, I feel as though we're on equal footing with the 49ers. Yeah. We are, because it's a race now. And I know the schedule's harder because we're a division winner, they're a division winner. So they got a hard schedule too. I honestly believe that. I feel that now the race is on. And now they're going to have to go through us like they had to this year anyway, but now they have to go through us even more to get the Super Bowl that they haven't gotten yet.
And that the Lions are, I would say,
and now it's a Super Bowl we haven't gotten either.
Yes.
So now we go.
Well, and then if we're looking at teams in the NFC who have either been good or are up and coming, none of them have Super Bowls. The Eagles haven't got one recently. They got one in 2017, but that was the Doug Peterson era. The 49ers haven't gotten one, and now the Cowboys certainly haven't gotten one. And now
ain't gonna get one.
Yeah, hey, I'll tell you what, you are 100% right, KG. But now the Lions, I'm not saying that they're definitely going to get back next year or that anything's guaranteed, but the Lions are set up pretty damn well for success in the future. And I think, given the fact that the Eagles lost the year before and the 49ers lost this year, there's a chance for the Lions to, if they have a period of sustained greatness, which includes a Super Bowl, be the team of a 5-year stretch or even a decade when it comes to NFC teams. Just because right now, the Chiefs run the league and everybody else is pretty much fighting for second place, including the Lions, in the same group as the 49ers and the Eagles, for example.
Cody Ingle, hell yeah, I was a Niner hater last night. I was rooting for the Niners' loss more than a Kansas City win. And Cody, at the core, that's where I was too. It just so happened that I was in a unique situation where you did get to root for Mahomes. And that's where they were the team that was going against them. So that was your only outlet for it to happen. Danny G, yes, and I hated every second of it. No, I get it. That guy 62, hell yeah, I did. What else was on here? Corey Berry, I was actually rooting for the 49ers because of the Taylor Swift thing and also because I figure it would have made them less hungry next year. Nah, I don't buy into that at all, because now we're on the block too.
Oh yeah,
we're on the block too now, and we'll do the draft stuff. I'm not doing it today. We're gonna do our first official mock draft, Spenny. We're gonna do it sometime this week, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. We'll see we'll see how it shapes itself out. Peter says, I was rooting for Kansas City just because I was tired of hearing about Tony Romo kiss the 49ers ass. Yeah, Lindsey Hunter will have to answer for himself. There is no question about it. He will have to. Just like if you ask me who's the best home security, I would answer. I would say it's Guardian Alarm.
Absolutely, as you should. The 49ers could have used some Guardian Alarm on that 49ers defense on that Kansas City Chiefs final drive, and it's a new year like Guardian Alarm offer you. Customized solutions from real experts. Our professional technicians take the time to recommend security and automation solutions specific to your needs. 24/7 professional monitoring. Call us anytime, day or night, and know that a Guardian team member will stay on the phone as long as needed. Technology backed by people. Your safety and security deserves technology that's been proven to work, and people have been proven to care. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT. That's 1-800-STAY-OUT. Guardian Alarm, your local security experts.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month, cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
For over 60 years, Fairway Packing Company has provided Michigan's finest hotels, restaurants, and casinos with the very best beef in all the land. Yes, the prime beef, the dry-aged beef, the Wagyu beef. If you've had a good steak in this town, chances are that steak came from Fairway Packing Company. Well, guess what? That's an avenue for you to take advantage of, too. Visit the Grab and Go Steak Shop in Grosse Pointe Woods or go to fairwaypacking.com. The best ribeyes I've ever made in my life from Fairway Packing Company, and it's available to you as well. Go to fairwaypacking.com if you're serious about grilling. Fairwaypacking.com. All right, we're keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, and Sam Flannel, the Patrick Mahomes meat rider, self-proclaimed here in the house. We also have Spencer Raxter and KG. One of the other things, and I saw this around social media, Antonio Brown actually gave a voice to the voiceless.
Surprising.
And he came out there and said basically, did anyone else feel like the Lions would be winning this game like 35-10? Did you get that thought too? Because I know I did.
I mean, 35-10 is a little bit aggressive. I will say this. With the Lions offense, I think that they would have been able to put up more than 10 points in the first half against the Kansas City Chiefs defense. There were certainly moments where I thought to myself, yeah, the Lions, if they were out there, they would have a very, very good chance to beat Kansas City. But it also made me a little bit more upset because the Lions had it. They had a 17-point lead at halftime of the NFC Championship game, and then they basically self-imploded, and the 49ers got the chance. But certainly offensively, I would be confident that the Lions would have been able to put up some numbers in the first half against the 49ers and maybe get a stronger lead. But conversely, could that defense have held could the defense have held the Kansas City Chiefs to 3 points? I'm not so sure because Spenny, and I know that you probably noticed this as well, the 49ers were getting pressure up front with four for a lot of the first half, and they were really forcing Patrick Mahomes to get a little rattled in the pocket.
They really missed Tooney a lot.
They did.
A lot.
They did. And, I mean, you saw Eric Armstead, you saw Javon Hargrave, you saw Nick Bosa, you saw Chase Young make Patrick Mahomes' life hell in the first half because, when you don't have to bring pressure, that means that you have plenty of people in the back being able to cover all of the wide receivers as well. So I think the Lions would have scored more in the first half than 10, but I also think that there's a very good chance that the Kansas City Chiefs would have scored more than 3. And then, of course, the third quarter and the second half, you never know because the 49ers had struggles in the third quarter to at least start it. Oh, by the way, so did the Detroit Lions in the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. Spenny. Does it concern you like it does that guy 62 in the WoodwardSports.com chat? I never thought I'd agree with AB. Does it concern you?
No, I've agreed with AB on different things before. Yeah. The CT needs to stop this dick, though. Like, AB is a prophet of our time, man. I'm telling you.
Well, and don't let people forget, Antonio Brown had maybe the greatest 6-year stretch of wide receiver play
ever.
This man should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. All of his antics be damned. Antonio Brown is one of the all-time greats. He is in that same room with guys, in my opinion, he's in the same room with guys like Randy Moss and T.O. He's not quite to their level, but he's in the same room. He should be awarded with a gold jacket as soon as possible.
If Gale Sayers is in,
absolutely,
then Antonio Brown should be in because he had an even more dominant stretch.
It's going to take a while, but he'll get there.
If Lynn Swann is in, Antonio Brown should be in with bells on. I'll just say that.
No, that is the truth.
Yeah.
Because he should be. He was. People forget, man, because they focus on the now and they forget about that run he had. He was on business every game. He was incredible.
Yep.
Plus, he said the Lions would win, and I agree. And you know what's funny about it, though? Here's how I think I've had a little bit of a level of closure since the 49ers game. Was like when he said that, when Antonio Brown said that, I was just like, yeah. And I felt kind of validated, but then I was able to move on from it. Like I didn't slip back into that, oh, man, what happened? I was like, yeah, it reinforced me for next year.
Was it the feeling of knowing that the Lions belong on the same field with like the best of the best? And that's 100% valid. I mean, you saw it the 2 weeks ago in the NFC Championship games. Benny, what do you got?
I was just going to say, I also think it's really funny when he calls people crackers on Twitter. That shit makes me laugh. Every time I see it, it's so funny. Yeah. And the CTESPN is great.
It is
so good.
Just to put that shit on.
Yeah, facts.
Great question here by Cody Engel. Anybody check up on Debo? I haven't heard much.
I feel bad for Greenlaw.
Yeah,
that was crazy.
Kevin
Achilles
walking out onto the field.
Yeah,
that's tough.
I'll be honest too, and this is somebody who I'm the biggest Mahomes fan of all time. But doesn't that just seem almost like Mahomes' devil magic? I would always say that Brady had it for so many years, but Dre Greenlaw, one of their best defensive players, their MVP of their win against the Packers for sure, coming onto the field tears his Achilles.
Yeah.
I mean, that's tragic, but it also greatly helped Mahomes and the Chiefs. I'll admit that.
Yeah, for sure.
100%.
Kelsey looked back when Greenlaw left.
Yeah.
Greenlaw was locking him down in the first half.
And Kelsey had a damn good second half.
Yeah, he did.
He was dominant.
No question.
Yeah.
Absolutely no question. And, it was interesting, too, like his whole exchange with Andy Reid, and people wanted to make it something. Now it's gone because they won. That's how this stuff works, everybody.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
That's how it works.
Yep.
They won.
They won, so now everything just magically goes away. And it looked really bad at the time. And it happened, I believe, after Pacheco had fumbled inside the 10-yard line. He probably
and you know what? I had this kind of hot take. Kelsey was right to be pissed. He wasn't on the field in the biggest play of the game at that point.
Yeah, Kelsey was right to be pissed. I don't know if I would have talked to Andy Reid that way, but I think Travis Kelsey is one of the few players on that offense who has the type of cachet where he can do that. I mean, Travis Kelsey's the greatest tight end of all time, and who said Yes.
Who's better?
Gronk.
Still got Gronk over him?
I just think Gronk was unstoppable, man.
So was Kelsey.
Unless he was injured.
He was
unstoppable unless he was injured.
If you say it, you can definitely make a point for it.
I understand that, but Travis Kelsey is either first or second to Jerry Rice in every major receiving statistical category amongst playoffs. So, Mahomes and Kelsey is every bit as deadly of a combination in terms of regular season and playoffs, in my opinion, as Montana and Rice, because Rice put up a lot of his numbers with Steve Young as well.
Detroit Dabber 313. Kadarius Toney Super Bowl rings 2. Aaron Rodgers Super Bowl rings 1. That's a factual statement, Dabber.
Well,
no one can refute that. No one can defeat that.
And the thing, Dabber, and we talked about it in studio before the show even started. Kadarius Toney, believe it or not, if we roll back the clock to a year ago, was a major contributor in the Kansas City Chiefs winning that Super Bowl against the Eagles. He had that big punt return which set up a touchdown. And hell, he had a touchdown of his own. But this season, Kadarius Toney had probably the worst season any NFL wide receiver has ever had. I think he was actually an operative for other teams, including the Detroit Lions in Week 1, by the way.
And I just saw a good post by ESPN. Like, Kelsey, Mahomes, and Andy Reid are all going to get statues, right? In front of wherever, Arrowhead.
That's what happens when you win as much as they have. I mean, you've got who I believe will ultimately end up as the greatest quarterback of all time. I think you have who is already the greatest tight end of all time. And you have someone in Andy Reid who is climbing the ranks and may end up as the greatest coach of all time, certainly if he wins another one. But that's what happens when you win as often as the Kansas City Chiefs do. You've got a lot of all-time great players. You've got all-time great coaches. I think Brett Veach is turning himself into an all-time great GM. Even coordinator-wise, Steve Spagnuolo with what he's done with the Kansas City Chiefs and then what he did previously with the New York Giants in those Super Bowls. I mean, they're a dynasty. They're every bit the dynasty that the 60s Packers were, the 70s Steelers, the 80s 49ers, the 90s Cowboys, the 2000s Patriots, and then the 2010s Patriots again. The Kansas City Chiefs are every bit as good as those teams.
People forget about Tony Gonzalez.
They do.
He was the originator of the tight end in fantasy football.
Yeah.
You know, like the wide receiver tight end in fantasy football. He was the originator. Dayjuice in the WoodwardSports.com chat thread. LMAO, Debo, 3 catches on 11 targets. He's a running back, bro.
Yeah.
Don't be friendly when you see me.
He had McDuffie was logging him down all game.
Yeah,
McDuffie
he got
was
injured.
nice.
He got injured too.
And he did get injured. Pulled a hammy or something like that.
Trent McDuffie had one of the greatest cornerback performances I've ever seen in a Super Bowl. Every time they tried him, he was right there, and he never interfered. That's one of the greatest skills you could have as a defensive back. He never interfered because you know how backbreaking those pass interference calls can be. Trent McDuffie, those were just clean, good old-fashioned PBUs.
Isaiah Buggs has more rings than J.J. Watt.
Jesus Christ.
Yes, he does.
Damn.
And Debo Samuel's a running back, bro.
Yeah.
You a running back. I know you got a little bag now. Don't be friendly when you see me.
Yeah, man.
They should probably stop playing him at running back so much because he's taken on a lot
beating.
of punishment. He's taken a beating.
He's so fit. I'll give him that. He is so physical, man.
Yes.
Like he is a running back. He is a running back playing wide receiver, but I mean that in a positive fashion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like you aren't stopping him from falling forward.
Well, I mean, and people are going to forget sooner or later, but in 2021, Debo Samuel had one of the greatest seasons as like a weapon that I've ever seen an
as
NFL
a running
player
back,
have.
bro.
He was unbelievable. He had like, 1,400 receiving yards and almost 500 rushing yards. Just like a touchdown machine. I believe he led the NFL in yards per catch that year at like 18. Debo Samuel was something special. He's just a guy that I wish could have stayed a little bit healthier. Although in the game against the Kansas City Chiefs, I didn't necessarily hate him getting banged up. But clean bill of health for Debo Samuel moving forward.
Cody Ingle makes a good point. He says, speaking of J.J. Watt, what about that 2005 hairstyle?
That's fact.
He had frosted tips. Did he not have frosted tips?
I believe he did.
That was, I mean,
It's crazy.
Unless he was doing it for charity.
I would never say it to his face that he looked stupid because he's a scary human being, but he looked pretty stupid.
Somebody get that clip over to TJ Watt. WoodwardSports.com chat poll. Who's the GOAT tight end? Wow, Gronk, 61% of the vote.
Yeah.
Kelsey with 23. Gonzo with 11 and Gates with 5.
Yeah. It was Gonzalez before Gronk happened, and then it was
agree.
Gronk. And you can make the argument that it's Kelsey now.
People forget about Kellen Winslow because none of us got to see him play.
That's true.
Like he was the godfather of that style, like the wide receiver tight. It was Kellen Winslow and then Shannon Sharp.
Yeah.
He was a wide receiver tight
Shannon
end
Sharp
too.
was the man.
Yeah,
He was absolutely. But yeah, it is. We do have to talk about this. This is great on the sheet, and I do want to address it. The whole overtime thing, all of it, the coin toss, the decision, the fact I didn't know the rules, which I'm guessing 85% of you didn't know the rules, to the fact that 50% of the goddamn players didn't know the rules.
Yeah.
They didn't. McCole Hardman didn't even know he won the game.
Yeah.
He did not even know he just won the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and McCole Hardman had the game-winning touchdown of the Super Bowl, by the way.
And didn't know it.
A zany thing in and of itself.
Yeah,
For the fact
and he didn't even know it.
I know.
I don't even
It's
know what's more
unbelievable.
crazy about it. I don't. But, hey, I do know this. Winners in Detroit, always better with comfort food from Big Boy. Yes, sir. Try the veal parmesan, Spenny. Maybe the Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl as well. That's right. How about breakfast? Stuffed potato pancakes. Hearty. Thick. You guys know what it is. Yeah. Substance to it.
Big pause.
Yeah, big pause, absolutely. The classic omelet, the lumberjack, the Santa Fe garden, also the new apple pie hotcakes that are too good to miss. Top it all off with a gingerbread shake for dessert. Stop by your local Big Boy today.
Have you ever wondered where all the finest restaurants get their steaks? It's Fairway Packing Company, providing Michigan restaurants, hotels, and casinos with prime beef for over 60 years. But now you can buy these cuts of meat for yourself at the Steak Shop by Fairway Packing Company. Prime porterhouse, A5 Japanese New York strip steak, dry aged Wagyu beef tomahawk. Delicious. Get to the Steak Shop today. Enjoy fine wine, have a private party, and get the finest cuts of meat anywhere. The Steak Shop on Mack Avenue in Grosse Pointe Woods, or order online, fairwaypacking.com.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. Tired of wearing the same old Detroit sports merchandise? It's a new era in Detroit wearables. That's right, woodwardsports.com/shop. Get your order in, the Stoke Not Scared shirt, because it's time, everybody. We're into a new season now. I know it's officially March 15th, the NFL New Year, but let's be real. It's the NFL New Year right now. So stock up accordingly. It's still beanie and hoodie season out there, so get in on that as well. Baseball, football, basketball, hockey, anything Detroit, folks, we got it all. Go to woodwardsports.com/shop today. Keeping it pushing here. Show flying by. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network, Neal Ruhl, Sam Flannel, KG, Spencer Racksta, all of you in the woodwardsports.com chat there. Appreciate your guys' involvement, as always, every single day. You guys drive it, man. I'm just sitting here captaining in it. My only job is to not crash into the iceberg. That's it. So, appreciate you guys. Mike G, Kellen Winslow was awesome for the Chargers. I watched those games with Maz.
Maz definitely watched some games.
When it was his 35th year covering the NFL. That was the Kellen Winslow era.
Shout out Dan Fouts, Don Coryell.
Dan Fouts, man. Can you imagine? Social media would murder Dan Fouts today.
Oh, yeah.
All those yards and never cashed one in.
Didn't even go to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, it was crazy, man. It was absolutely crazy. All right, the overtime. First things first. The coin flip. That guy's 62. No free agent talk, Neal. That guy's 62. We'll get there a little bit later on in the week. I do want to discuss, this because I find it crazy. The most crazy thing that I took away from this Super Bowl was the fact that they played an overtime that nobody knew the rules to. Me, you, the players. Nobody knew what the rules were to overtime. I'm honest. I didn't know. I thought it was a situation where they're both guaranteed to get a possession. If a defense scores the first score, then the game's over.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I didn't know there were 2 quarters to overtime, number one. And don't act like you did either. Nobody knew. Be real with me. Anybody in this room know the rules? Be real.
I didn't think it would be another quarter.
So no, the answer's no.
Yeah.
Okay.
But they said it during the broadcast. They was like, it's technically a brand new game because you got to have a winner. You can't tie in the Super Bowl.
Right, which I figured I took that just to mean like we're playing overtime like we always play overtime. Did you know, Flannel?
The a quarter rule, no.
No one knew. No one knew. Kevin Bell, I did. You're a liar. You're a flat-out liar, Kevin Bell. You did not know the rules. Bryce Burnett, how did you not know the rules? He said new game. Every overtime's a new game, even in the regular season, right? I mean, it's a new game,
technically,
right?
but they would play only the 15 minutes, and then after 15 minutes, if they don't decide a winner, it's a tie.
Right, so it's a new game, but with 30 instead of 15.
Yeah.
But like,
well, I think they would have kept going until they had a winner. I think that's essentially what it was.
Is the quarter rule, though, that big of a deal in terms of do you know it or not? I think the bigger question is when it comes to the San Francisco 49ers, for example, because I know that there's some question about what the decision that Kyle Shanahan made or he had his players make about taking the ball first after they won the coin flip. And I will give one quick benefit of the doubt. For the entire history of football, especially in the playoffs, you want to get the ball first in NFL overtime or an NFL playoff overtime, because previous to what the rules are now, it was if you score a touchdown on your first possession, it's over. But then even previous to that, it was just straight up sudden death. So if you got the ball first, you had a major advantage. Now, at least starting with this season, it's not a major advantage to get the ball first.
I would disagree with that.
A major advantage?
Yes.
Okay.
Because here's the deal, and Spenny and I butted heads about this in the show open. Because Spenny said the 49ers should have deferred. And I said absolutely not. Because the principle still applies. If both teams score, then the next score wins.
Sure.
Yeah.
That principle still applied. So for me, I am taking the ball twice to Patrick Mahomes once. Every single time. Anything I can do to steal a possession from Patrick Mahomes, I'm doing. I don't care.
Yeah, but
if you defer, you're giving him the ball twice.
Yeah, but here's what I will counter with, though, is that if you're going to do that and you're the San Francisco 49ers, and they almost did, they drove it right down the field, you better score a touchdown, especially when you're going up against the Patrick Mahomes-led Kansas City Chiefs, because I think every single person who was watching knew when they kicked that field goal, they were fucked.
Yep.
I mean, excuse my language, but Patrick Mahomes is the Grim Reaper. He was going to go down and lead the Chiefs to a game-winning touchdown drive, especially when you know that that's what you need to win the game. That means, and I know they could have theoretically tied it and extended the game and whatnot, but they weren't looking to do that. They had 4 downs, and Patrick Mahomes, if he's given 4 downs to get 10 yards, he's usually going to do that, evidenced by they actually converted a 4th down on that drive, on that Patrick Mahomes read option run, which was phenomenal, by the way. It's just that if you can hold the team, if you defer and you can hold your opponent out of the end zone, you have a major advantage. And but I will say this, Kyle Shanahan, he even said in his press conference that he wanted to do the whole, if we score a touchdown and they score a touchdown, it's sudden death after that. I understand that explanation, but it didn't work. And it's Kyle Shanahan, and he has a track record of some questionable Super Bowl play calling and decision making. So like you say, Neal, if you win, everything goes away. If you lose, especially the Super Bowl, everything is magnified times 100. And I personally think that they made the wrong decision, whether it would have worked out or not. I think they made the wrong decision, the 49ers.
Jeremy Shippa says, does that mean if after 2 quarters it was tied, we'd have another halftime show? There wouldn't be another halftime show, but there would have been a halftime.
Yeah.
A shorter halftime, I read.
Oh,
probably.
Yeah, because I went and looked at once I figured I didn't know what the hell was going on.
Yeah.
Like I went and looked it up.
Yeah.
And yes, they have a short halftime.
That's so weird.
I mean, it makes sense. You can't just continuously let them play. Like, they do need a rest. So it's crazy.
Would they have put who was Cascade out there? Wasn't he the house DJ or whatever? Put Cascade out there and just like spit a few.
I know, right? Like,
that's very strange.
Could you've done like a half a Usher, like I don't know, Trey Songz or somebody? Right. You know, I don't know. Detroit Arrow. Anyone that knew that rule is either a super football nerd or a liar. But here's DNCENT. I had double overtime at plus 10,000. Yes, I was hoping for double overtime.
But what's double overtime with the new rules? Is it a whole game and then another one?
No, if it's a halftime, right? if it's a halftime, then it's just a game,
Yeah,
right?
so
We still don't know.
So to get to double overtime, would you have to play the whole game still not win?
I think double overtime is just this if it goes to the second quarter.
Yeah.
That's what I think that it is, and it almost did. I mean, I don't remember. Could the Kansas City Chiefs have let the clock run down, or was there like a second differential?
I think they could have, but that's
okay.
what also probably surprised the 49ers.
Yeah.
They didn't think they were going to run that play before the clock ran out.
Well, reports are coming out right now. I saw this in The Athletic, Score Mobile, all of it. The San Francisco 49ers players didn't know the overtime rules before the game. They admitted they weren't aware of the playoff overtime rules and that the team didn't strategize for extra time ahead of the game. Eric Armstead said, quote, "I didn't even know about the new playoff overtime rules, so it was a surprise to me. I didn't even really know what was going on in terms of that." That's wild to me.
But
that's coaching malfeasance.
I was about to say, isn't that an indictment on Kyle Shanahan at that point? As I said, when you lose, everything gets magnified. And what that tells me is that, I mean, maybe Kyle Shanahan knew the rules, maybe he didn't, but his players, at least some of them, had some confusion when it came to the rules. And maybe if they would have strategized a little bit more, they would have played overtime a little bit differently. And Kyle Shanahan, like we've touched on before, Kyle Shanahan is a repeat offender. He is a noted playoff choker. And it's not just because his teams always lose in the Super Bowl as the head coach of the San Francisco 49ers twice and the offensive coordinator as the Atlanta Falcons once. It's the way that they lose, the way that in every single one of those games, believe it or not, his teams had at least a 10-point lead at one point in the game. And I'm not saying, and they could, but the thing is, they could have rectified that situation in overtime and just won the game, but they didn't. Would they have played it a little bit differently? Who knows? But when you're a member of the losing team and you're coming and you're saying in press conferences that your team didn't know the overtime rules, that falls on Kyle Shanahan.
It's absurd.
It's obscene. You can't do that.
And people in the chat are saying that's excuses. Shift God says it's excuses. D's 411, those are excuses. Well, they're not excuses. It's you being malfeasant, as Spenny said. That's unforgivable.
Yeah.
And the media should wear him out about that.
I mean, if for the people who said it's excuses, does that make you look better that you didn't know the overtime rules?
It makes you look worse.
It makes you look way worse.
Exactly. Yeah. Like that would be so me doing college basketball, right? When we play in a tournament, a postseason tournament, conference tournament, whatever, the coaching staff breaks off into fragments, and they each are doing scouting reports for any of the possible opponents. The 8 seed playing the 1 seed. Guess what? One coach is doing the 1 seed, another coach is doing the 8 seed, and you're doing it because what if it happens?
That's wild.
You know what I'm saying? The more we talk about this, the more unbelievable it is. But then again, the more believable it is. Because who are we talking about here?
We're talking about Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers.
Repeat choking offenders.
Repeat choking offenders. But how could
That's your coach, Lindsey Hunter. That's your coach, by the way. When you were saying, "Oh, we're this great franchise," Kyle Shanahan. 2 words for you, bro. They didn't know the overtime rules. Lindsey, remember that time you played in the NBA playoffs and you didn't know the overtime rules when you stepped out on the floor? Fuck out of here, man.
It wouldn't have mattered anyway.
Not having a plan for overtime, I think, is worse than not knowing the rules.
And you can't have a plan if you don't know what the rules are.
True.
At some point, wouldn't somebody have said, "Hey, Kyle, this seems to be pretty important here. This is a 1-point, 2-point spread game. Chances are pretty high we could be tied at the end of this game. We may want to walk it back with everybody just so everybody's on the same page." And I'm not even saying, like you say, that rule A, rule B, rule C. Say, "Hey, guys, just so everyone's aware of any possibility that can happen, here's how this goes down." In overtime.
Yeah, in overtime, it's something that happens in the NFL a lot. I think only one Super Bowl prior to this went to overtime, but still, you see conference championship games, like even this season, which are decided by 3 points. You see the AFC championship game a year ago with the Chiefs against the Bengals, that's decided by 3. You see the previous year's Chiefs-Bengals AFC championship game, which was decided in overtime. You saw when the Chiefs lost to the Patriots after the 2018 season, that was in overtime. Big playoff games go into overtime almost every single year. You have at least one or maybe even a couple. So the fact that there was no plan or preparation for it happening in the Super Bowl, it's coaching malfeasance. I mean, Kyle Shanahan, and I know this kind of sounds a little bit absurd right now because he has done a good job overall, but is this the type of continuous playoff choking that maybe lands him on the hot seat before you may otherwise think so?
I don't know. Kyle Shanahan may not worry about insurance, but you should.
Yes.
And there's one company in particular you should contact.
Swiss Insurance. Do you have football on the brain? Of course you do. The end of the Super Bowl ushers in the perfect time. Usher, get it?
Nice.
Usher.
Yes, to shop your home and auto insurance. Shop it like a pro with Swiss Insurance. They cover Woodward Sports Network, and they should be covering you too. Ask for Mark at Swiss Insurance today at swissins.com or call 248-800-4177. Again, that is 248-800-4177, Swiss Insurance.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Stop searching for a vehicle and start finding one. Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac makes it easy. We harness the power of multiple dealerships and own the biggest selection of GM brands in the area to get you the car you need. With the Les Stanford Group, you'll have access to 4 different dealerships, providing you with more makes, more models, and more choices. We're connected to more than 1,000 vehicles. And with so many high-quality CPO vehicles available, you'll find new car quality at pre-owned prices. You can start and end your search at lesstanford.com today.
Neal Ruhl here for Jack Labrador. Well, folks, shed a tear. Football season is officially over, but spring training is right around the corner. However, Jack Labrador's here 24/7, 365. Learn how to play right now on your phone at jacklabrador.gg. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. Remember, once you go Jack, you never go back. Big D Energy smashes the afternoon show in Jack Labrador. You can smash your family members as well. Go to jacklabrador.gg, scan that QR code, get the new car game that's sweeping the nation. It's Jack Labrador. Second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. That guy is Sam Flannel. That guy over there is KG. That guy over there is Spencer Raxter. Shout out Woodward Heavyweights, 5 to 7. Wake up Woodward, right? 8 to 10.
Yes.
Shout out. Absolutely. Appreciate y'all tapping into the show. Remember, you can subscribe to the Big D Energy podcast wherever you get your podcast. And subscribe there, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. We're just kind of wrapping up this overtime discussion. Patrick Ofiara says they announced the rules at the coin toss over the loudspeakers. Yes, Patrick, but that shouldn't be the first time your team is hearing about this.
That's true.
Especially going out to a coin toss to where I feel as though there's no debate, but Spenny does. And he laid out his case that if you were the 49ers, you said you would have deferred.
I would have deferred, yeah. Because I like knowing what I need. You know what you need. After you have Mahomes and them go out there and do their thing, if they score a field goal, you know you just need a field goal. If they score a touchdown, you know you need a touchdown. And Romo, I don't like Romo in the booth, but at one point he did make a good point where, like, having the ball second, you get that extra down because you're going to go for it on 4th down. You're going for it on 4th because if you go 3 and out or you punt it, you lose. So you're going for it on every 4th down, which is another advantage as well.
Yeah, and to me, this kind of becomes philosophical. I can't get past the point, like I said earlier. I'm not giving Mahomes theoretically 2 possessions to my 1. I'm not doing that. Yeah. There's no way in the world I'm doing that. So that becomes a flavor thing. Plus, for me, and this, I think this becomes like the whole Dan Campbell disconnect, that I understand what I think he's trying to do and some people get hung up on. I think it's an aggression thing. I think it's a thing where you're dictating to the other team. You're taking the lead and you make them react to you. And you go down and you score the touchdown, then you're the boss because you're getting the ball back no matter what, unless they get a touchdown and go for 2. But at the same time, you know, if I'm the 49ers and I would have scored, and I'm 2 yards away, to guarantee I get the football back, to guarantee it, I would consider going for 2 on that first touchdown.
Wow. But if you don't get it...
Yeah,
but if I do, I can't lose, and I'm going to get the ball back in an old school next score wins overtime scenario.
Well, and if you were to go for 2 and make it, you'd also create the scenario where you can give up a touchdown and then just go.
You got to stop them one out of 2 times.
You got to stop them one out of 2 times. But I guess that leads to the question, because we know it didn't work. We know that the 49ers did have to settle for a field goal, and the Kansas City Chiefs were able to drive the ball right down the field as you expected and win the Super Bowl. But if you're gonna be that team that gets the ball first, and I know this is very, very risky, because if you don't get it, you don't score at all, and then all Patrick Mahomes has to do is drive the football to like the 30 or the 25 or the 20 to get a more makeable field goal. Did Kyle Shanahan kind of F up by not going for that fourth and goal?
And that's what I wanted to say too. Because when you play Patrick Mahomes in particular, but in general in this league, field goals get you beat. Field goals get you beat. Well, Neal, there were a whole bunch of field goals in the game. Yes, but when it was all on the line and you chose the field goal and you gave the ball back to that witch in that number 15 jersey,
seriously,
you took your fate into your own hands and you got what you deserved. You did. Would I have considered it? Yes, I would have considered it a lot, to the point where I'd have taken a timeout probably. And it was 4 yards. It was 4 yards for a first down.
Then
4 yards.
If they don't convert, would they have gotten the ball right
at that spot?
Yeah, at that spot.
At that spot.
Absolutely, you got to consider that.
Now, again, I would have taken a timeout to think about it, because with Harrison Butker's a little different, because if they get on that side of the 50, he's in field goal range. You know what I'm saying? But I think in the end, I think I would have went for it.
It's a risk either way.
Because I'm dictating. Yeah. And I want to get the ball back no matter. I want my 2 possessions. That's what I want.
And maybe that's just the price you pay for taking the ball first, is in a situation like that, maybe they should have gone for it. Like I said, it's very, very risky, because I certainly don't want to score nothing if I'm the San Francisco 49ers and give Patrick Mahomes the ball right back, even if it is at their own 4-yard line. But that's what's so tricky about it, because I think we would also all agree that when the 49ers kicked their field goal, they basically sealed their fate at that point. So what they could have done if they were going for it was they could have gotten the ultimate high of scoring the touchdown, but they also 4 yards is not a guarantee in any way, shape, or form. And throughout a lot of the game, the 49ers did have some trouble offensively, although in the fourth quarter, they were pretty much moving the ball. And at that point, you kind of think, quick throw to Juwan Jennings probably gets you a touchdown, the way that he was playing at that point. So I guess the reality is that the 49ers, one of the reasons why it's so magnified is they lost, and they made what was, in hindsight at least, the wrong call. And the Kansas City Chiefs got the advantage of knowing that a field goal ties it, but a touchdown, they're Super Bowl champions.
Broder agrees with Spenny, says defer, you get to play with 4 downs. But Broder, again, that means I'm giving Mahomes the ball twice. Not doing it.
Unless you stop them on that first one. If you hold them to a field goal, and they're not going to be, they'll take a field goal like Shanahan took a field goal. Like, they're not going to be forcing the touchdown.
See, you never know that with Reed, though.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you never know that with him.
Or you could go for 2 if you score a touchdown and win the game.
That's true.
Well, yeah.
No, because they get an extra possession. So in a normal overtime, it would make sense for Shanahan to take the ball first and score 7, then game's over. But in a situation where you get an offensive possession both ways, no matter what, then he probably should have deferred. I think Spinny right on that.
But if you get the touchdown, though, you're getting the ball back.
You have the advantage.
And then it's the next score wins with you getting the ball.
True, unless they go down and score and get the extra point, then I think it's over at that point, right?
Well, no, I'm talking about.
I think even if they
score and get the 2 points.
Even if they go for 2 and get it, you still get the next position. I don't know, man.
Yeah. I'm dictating to them.
If you get the ball first,
and you score a touchdown, I'm going for 2.
And then
because remember, it's 2 yards in the NFL, not 3.
Yeah.
No, but yeah. If San Francisco scores a touchdown first, and then Kansas City goes back, scores a touchdown and the 2 points, that ends the game.
No, but I'm going for my 2 to start. If I'm the 49ers, and then I'm up 8. And then I only got to stop them 1 out of 2 times. And even if I don't stop them, I'm getting the ball back where the next score wins. I'm taking Patrick Mahomes out of the equation. In my theory, Patrick Mahomes is removed from the equation, and it's about my offense. And if my offense does what I believe that they can do, then we win the football game. Patrick Mahomes can cast a spell on the stadium, whatever he wants to do. If I execute, I win. And that's where, too, on the field goal thing, and I know a lot of you are going to say it's crazy, if it's 4th and 4 for me and I'm at the 9-yard line, it is a deep discussion about going for it because I'm taking Mahomes out of the equation. It's not up to him. Instead of me putting it in Mahomes' hands, how'd that work out for everybody again?
Well, and in overtime at that point, because the difference is the 49ers, they kicked a go-ahead field goal. It was a little bit farther back. It was actually a hell of a kick by Jake Moody to take the lead with, like a minute 50 left in regulation. But the thing is, with that, the Chiefs, they had the ball back and you had Patrick Mahomes, but they had unlimited time. In overtime, you basically, since the 49ers, they kicked the field goal, the Chiefs pretty much have unlimited time to go down and score the touchdown. Obviously, if you run out of downs, you lose. If you tie the game with a field goal, it just goes into sudden death. But there was no time crunch or anything. So you were basically just like Patrick Mahomes had no worry about fighting the 49ers and the clock. It was just fighting the 49ers. And at that point, I don't know if Patrick Mahomes had ever had a situation as advantageous as that in his entire career. So, Neal, I 100% get what you're saying about, and Kyle Shanahan said it in the press conference that was his thought process as well. Score first, they score, it's sudden death after that. But at the same time, if you're going to make that move, you better...
You got to score
You
7.
Can't miss.
You
got to
miss.
7.
You have to treat that... Do you treat that possession as touchdown or bust at that point?
Yeah.
All right. Then.
I mean, within reason.
Within reason, of course.
Like 4th and 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. 100%. Like if it's 4th and 12...
Right.
No, obviously not.
Right.
Then I'm forced into kicking the field goal. When you get under 5 yards, and again, I get to eliminate Patrick Mahomes from dictating this outcome, I'm going to do it.
Well,
I'm going to do it. And I'll step up at that podium and I'll say, they got a witch over there at quarterback.
Yeah.
Look at the records.
And if you miss, he had to drive the whole length of the field.
He's got to go the whole length of the field.
He did what he had to do.
But the whole length of the field with being able to know you can drive it to probably the 20 or the 25.
Yeah, you just got to kick the field goal.
Yeah. That's not something I want Patrick Mahomes doing on my, like having the opportunity to do.
Especially with Bucker.
Well, I mean, but theoretically, though, they had him 4th and 1 at their own 30.
Yeah.
They did.
Mm-hmm. You know, if you went for it and you didn't get it, and they're 4th and 1 at their own 30, they're punting back to you.
Yeah.
Well, in the Kansas City Chiefs, too.
That is true.
Low key.
Field position.
Their short yardage game, as somebody who was rooting for the Chiefs and has rooted for them in the playoffs, it can get a little shoddy. They don't have a tush push or anything like that. They never run Patrick Mahomes with quarterback sneaks because a lot of people don't remember this. During their 2019 Super Bowl run, he got hurt. He dislocated his knee in a regular season game doing that. And now they don't ever run quarterback sneaks. If they do, it's with Kelsey lining up under center.
And they don't have a third down back, really.
They don't.
Yeah,
and they've struggled in those situations all game long. It's just in that particular play, Patrick Mahomes had that read option and obviously ran for a first down. Shout out Patrick Mahomes running in that game as well. He led the team in rushing as well as obviously throwing. He's a problem. He's the best we've ever seen, just as a side note.
It's fair. What about PFIT?
Planet Fitness, everybody, right there. You guys know what it is, the official studio sponsor of Woodward Sports. I was just there a couple hours ago. What are you on today, Spenny?
Arms.
Arm day.
Monday's arm day.
Absolutely. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday over here. Because that's the way that it operates. But every day's cardio day. And guess what? Doesn't matter. Tons of treadmills, tons of weights. So Spenny can do back or whatever crazy-ish he does. Doesn't matter. I can stay on the treadmill for an hour and a half. Run 9 miles. Doesn't matter because they got a ton of equipment. Right now, $1 down, $10 a month. Access to your home club. You want to be a baller and a shot caller? $24.99 a month, the black card. You get access to over 2,400 Planet Fitnesses around the world. Go to planetfitness.com, join there, pull in the parking lot. You're going to pass a couple on the way home. You can join there. It is Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
Savor the heart of home at Big Boy with our all-new down-home comfort dishes. Feast on home-style goodness with our Southern Comfort Chicken Bowl, veal parmigiana, and apple pie hotcakes. The down-home delight doesn't stop there. Potato pancakes are back. Dive into the richness of our perfectly crafted potatoes with our classic potato pancakes and our stuffed potato pancakes. Top off your meal with our new gingerbread shake, a seamless blend of creamy vanilla and sweet gingerbread flavors. Nothing beats the comforting taste of down-home cooking. Enjoy every bite, only at Big Boy.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Since 1996, Feldman Automotive has been driven to provide a fast, convenient, and first-class car buying experience. It's called the Feldman Advantage. There's 18 locations, so you know there's a Feldman dealership in your backyard. Visit feldmanauto.com to find the location nearest you. Maybe you saw their Super Bowl commercial yesterday, perhaps, and you know that Feldman Chevrolet in Novi is Michigan's #1 Chevrolet dealer. It's Feldman Automotive. They're everywhere, folks. With your next car purchase, Feldman's the answer. All right, we're keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. It's interesting to see the split in the chat. A lot of people kind of laughed at me, but then a lot of people saying I understand exactly where Neal is going with this. And then I had another one that said Neal Campbell.
Neal Campbell.
But that's what I'm for, though, man.
Yeah.
Leveraging possessions.
Dan Campbell definitely would have went for it.
The 4 is right on the edge for me.
Yeah.
But I think in the moment I would have went for it. Because, again, they're going to get the ball at the 9-yard line or the 7-yard line or whatever. And remember, they forced them to a 4th down. And if they weren't down 3, they would have punted.
I mean, given that we all know kicking a field goal is basically a death. It's a death wish in that situation.
You lose.
The 49ers, they'd been moving the ball pretty effectively, at least after the Chiefs had scored a touchdown to put them ahead 13-10. The 49ers were moving the football, and we've obviously saw Juwan Jennings, how impactful he was in that game. He scored a red zone touchdown. Brandon Ayuk had a few short passes that he took for a few extra yards. So the 49ers, I think, in Kyle Shanahan's playbook, had some plays that would have been effective in a chance to score a touchdown. Actually, it worked, but Chris Jones blew it up on 3rd down in the previous down. So I get what you're saying, given the fact that at least going for 4th down in that situation, because if you don't and you kick the field goal, you're giving Patrick Mahomes with a touchdown and you win it situation, which is never good for anybody, because you're right. He is a witch. He has devil's magic. He is the best we've ever seen.
Deja, I'm so glad the 49ers lost. It all just does come back down to that,
Yeah.
At least for me anyway.
They blew it, really.
They did.
They could have easily won that game.
In the woodwardsports.com chat thread, jump into there, get your thoughts out there as well. But Sebastian Cho saying, this was earlier, said there's no reason Brock Purdy should be throwing 45-plus times against a pass defense in the NFL. Shanahan blew that game.
He did. Point blank. And it's hard to say, like, I thought they should have ran with C-Mac more, and it's hard to say that when he had 22 carries. But he really dictated, like, the game flow for their offense. I felt like if they kept feeding him, especially in the 3rd quarter, it might have turned out better for them in the long run.
Mike says, I agree. I don't know why they ditched CMC down the stretch, and that's because of the coach that's over there. And then Kalamazoo, I was miserable. George Kittle didn't get 25 yards because he screwed my biggest parlay. And I know that there was a lot of that angles. All right, last discussion on this. That 4th down play that we were talking about, that 4th and 1, that I believe the Chiefs would have punted on if the 49ers would have went for the touchdown and didn't get it. Like, that would have been your punishment. Anybody notice? And this isn't fair because he was very, very good. And you can say what you want about Romo, because I'm kind of with you guys. I think I've had enough of Tony Romo.
Sure, yeah.
And the deal breaker for me was when he called that one play a clothesline. When very clearly, Tony Romo, anyone who knows wrestling knows that was a running lariat.
Yeah.
All right?
It was.
That was a running lariat, not a clothesline.
It was.
So let's just get that out there, Tony Romo. Know your wrestling moves if you're going to go there. But with that being said, the biggest play of the game, the 4th and 1, the play the 49ers had where they could have won the Super Bowl. No one's bringing this up. They had a play to win the Super Bowl. It was a 4th and 1. They had it. And Nick Bosa took the bait. He took the bait.
So
on the play action. He took the bait. And what I like to think was a play, if they did hand that ball off, what was he going to do? He's 4 feet behind the running back. What's he going to do if it was a handoff?
Yeah, but what's that supposed to mean? Are we saying that Nick Bosa choked or what's?
I'm saying he didn't make the play.
He didn't, but he had a damn.
He was great. I know.
Yeah, he was.
But again, that's why the Super Bowl's great, Flannel.
It matters
because it was 4th and 1.
Yeah.
If you don't take the bait, you win the game.
I will say this though, and maybe I think a little bit too higher of my boy than a lot of people, but I wouldn't put it past Patrick Mahomes to just put his head down and get that yard. You see it. You've seen it during the playoffs all playoffs long. You saw it against the Baltimore Ravens. You saw it earlier in the game, and I understand that taking on Nick Bosa is definitely something that no quarterback ever wants to do. But Patrick Mahomes might have still got that yard regardless. But it was obviously the Red Seas basically parted, and he was able to get way past the first down, like 12 yards or something. So yeah, Nick Bosa
because Bosa was responsible for him.
I understand.
And took the bait.
He didn't have a great, that wasn't his shining moment, but I'm not going to put this game on Nick Bosa.
But I'm putting that play on him.
Sure.
That would have won the game if he made the right play.
So Nick Bosa has to be perfect.
He had to be on that play for them to win the Super Bowl, yes.
All right. Anyway, I mean, I'm not gonna put the blame for this game on Nick Bosa.
I'm not putting the blame on the game for him either. But they had a play to win the game.
Is it
go back and watch it.
Well, no, obviously I know the play, and I know that Nick Bosa wasn't very assignment sound on that particular play.
And I love Nick Bosa.
Sure, and I do too. He was a Defensive Player of the Year the previous year and followed it up with another damn good year. But I'm kind of curious whether or not it being Patrick Mahomes back there may have, I don't want to say spooked him or anything like that because he is a former Defensive Player of the Year, but Patrick Mahomes is somebody that you always have to account for and be mindful of, even with his legs, because you saw how he killed the 49ers with his legs in that particular game. Or maybe is it just a microcosm of that play in general is just really hard to stop, even if you are Nick Bosa.
100%, yeah.
You've got like double responsibilities at that point.
But he's a superstar too.
He is a superstar.
Yeah. You want to hear something crazy though that I just found? It's the Gronk and Kelsey, going back to that. In 20 less games, in 360 less receptions, Gronk has 10 more touchdowns.
Damn.
Well, all he does is catch touchdowns.
360.
That's all he does is catch touchdowns, though, Spenny. I mean,
that is insane. Actually, 14 more. 14 more touchdowns.
I think
in 360 less receptions.
Was it his rookie year where he just basically came out the gates running with touchdowns? He had 17 one year. I know that. Yeah, he was a touchdown machine. I just with Gronk, and I don't want to rehash this whole Gronk or Kelsey thing.
Thank you.
He's a better blocker than Kelsey too.
Oh well, sure, but Gronk also was often hurt.
Yeah.
And Travis Kelce, I mean, I know he's had some nicks like every now and again, but overall he's been extraordinarily available. I mean, Rob Gronkowski missed an entire Super Bowl run that at least in terms of the playoffs that the Patriots would end up winning. I'm not saying that that's a knock against. I'm saying that when you're talking about the all-time greatest tight ends, you have to nitpick a little bit. And that's one of my nitpicks, is that Travis Kelce was more available, and he is one of the greatest pass catchers in postseason history. It's him or Jerry Rice. Those are the only two that are even in the conversation, at least in terms of numbers.
WoodwardSports.com chat through. Brandon says, hi from Minot, North Dakota. Wow. All right. Hey, how's that wind chill?
Shout out.
CMC should have had.
I didn't know people lived in North Dakota.
They do. I've been there. It's unbelievable.
What they got in North Dakota that's interesting?
Hockey.
Yeah. Yeah, people love the hockey up there, no doubt. Imagine. Bro, I was there one time. We played North Dakota State, and it was February, and the temperature was 30 below. The wind chill was 55 below.
Oh, my God.
And we got off the bus, and the driver got off the bus. We were getting our baggage out, trying to haul ass into the hotel because it was so cold. Like, it burned you. Like, it didn't even make you cold. It burned your face.
Jesus.
And we were trying to get into the hotel, and the bus driver got off the bus, closed the door, left that thing running. And we got in the hotel, and I was like, you just leave it running? He's like, yeah, you can't shut it off or it'll freeze and it won't start. I'm like, what?
That's crazy, man.
And it was like, and it was so normal. And then like later I'm watching the news, and I'll never forget this. The news anchor goes, they had some meeting at town hall they were covering or something like that, and she goes, and remember everybody, there's a wind chill warning outside. Exposed skin will get frostbite in right around 2 minutes. If you're left outside exposed, in 7 minutes you'll die. And Chip's coming up next with sports. Like, it was just matter of fact.
Just normal, like.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
One of my best friend's cousin he played goalie at North Dakota State. He's the best collegiate goalie of all time. He broke Jimmy Howard's goalless records in shot attempts and periods. I think he won 2 championships there. Cam Johnson. He's the man.
And he froze his ass off.
off.
There is no doubt. But Brandon, he said CMC should have had at least 30 touches if I'm San Francisco, and I don't disagree with you. My mom texted in, too, from Port Richey, Florida. Tell T-Foss happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
out.
T-Foss. I can't
birthday.
believe you didn't tell anybody.
Yeah, man.
I was at T-Foss' house all night last night. You didn't even say it was his birthday.
Hey, happy birthday, T-Foss. But to Brandon's point about them, I would say abandoning the run a little bit in the third quarter. Again, Kyle Shanahan is a repeat offender.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, Falcons Super Bowl.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
I'm just saying that's just what Kyle Shanahan does.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate for him because he's such a he's one of the best. I'm getting choked up for it.
Right, I thought she was about to faint.
No, he's one of the best offensive minds in the NFL right now. It's just he has playoff demons.
Mm-hmm.
They come for some.
Choker, man. Just call it what it is.
0-3 in the Super Bowl. So that's tough.
That's horrible.
No, if you don't want to take an L when it comes to your pet,
all you got to do.
You know what the move is?
Yeah, Premier Pet Supply, obviously, because Premier Pet Supply is Michigan's best pet store, same prices, and all of the conveniences of the online and big box retailers with one major difference. They're family and locally owned and operated for 30-plus years. Make sure you guys check out Premier Pet Supply. Hit them up at premierpetsupply.com. Premier Pet Supply, give your pet the best. www.premierpetsupply.com.
At work and at home, we're there with smarter security solutions. Featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
What happens when you run a great business for over 50 years? You expand and offer more products to more people. This is exactly what Les Stanford did by adding Les Stanford Buick GMC, the same great service that customers have come to know and trust on Woodward Avenue just south of 9 Mile. Check out Les Stanford in Dearborn today at lesstanford.com. Les Stanford Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
All right, keeping it pushing here. Big D Energy. I think that closes the book on the football season. Later this week, I'll revisit the contract stuff. We'll go a little deeper on that. We'll take a look at the draft stuff. We'll do the free agency stuff as well. So we'll get to. We got a lot of time, everybody. Next up, the NFL draft, or actually next up the combine, then the NFL draft. It's here, by the way. Think about that energy, bro.
Skipped over free agency too.
Yep,
I'm looking forward to the free agency.
League New Year, March 15th. But yeah, the NFL draft will be here. Remember though, too. As far as March 15th goes, there will be a couple of different cut dates. And you'll see guys cut. Some will be cut March 15th. Some will be cut May 1st. Some will be cut June 15th. I forget what the exact date is because roster bonuses and cap hits. It might be June 1st. I can't remember if it's June 1st or June 15th. But post-June cuts, you can take that dead cap and slice it into 2 years. So guys that are high dollar guys that are going to get cut, more than likely you'll see those guys cut post-June 1st. Yeah. So when everybody loses their mind, you know me, Flannel.
Yeah.
I try to prepare the people for everything.
You do.
And then I have to take all the reaction. I say, guys, I told you this. But you still, you guys are still the pit bull on the chain. Like when free agency starts and stuff like that, like everybody calm down because you still have that post-June 1st cut. You have to stay financially nimble to be a participant in that because there's always somebody that gets cut that can help your team. Always. So everybody calm down, okay? When you see these big-time free agents that go flying off the board, and you're like, where's Brad in all this? Remember, it's deeper than that.
Yeah, he warned y'all too.
It's deeper than rap.
That's why he told y'all at the press conference, hey, if it look crazy, just follow
remember.
along. Just follow along, man. It's going to be all right.
So, we like an exit row on an airplane. Spencer, do you acknowledge that cuts will come in June?
Yes, I do.
Kenny, KG, do you acknowledge? I need a verbal. Sam Flannel, do you acknowledge?
I acknowledge.
Okay.
But I'm definitely first off that plane.
No question.
She goes, I'm pushing that old lady out of the way.
Yeah. No question. I'll open the door, not for you.
Yeah.
Because I need to get out.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just doing it for the leg room and free drinks.
That's it.
That also is kind of irresponsible by airplane companies. Like, yeah, you give the people the Comfort Plus seats if they help people off, but you also give them free drinks. Ooh. So the people that are supposed to be helping people off in midst of an emergency are all hammered from the free drinks. But, hey, can't hate. That's why I fly every time. Comfort Plus, got to get them.
Got to, man. Don't have a choice.
No, it's a necessity. Free drinks and extra leg room.
I would be okay unless I'm flying to Vegas.
Yeah. I flew Spirit to Cali one time.
Horrible.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
And it was funny because I'm a big guy. My boy Paulie, he's a big guy. He's like 6'6". And my friend Dante, who's a smaller guy, was on the outside row. He was the one that was like, I gotta move. Like, I gotta do something. Like, I'm sitting in the middle like this, like with my laptop playing video games. Oh, my God. And I was fine, but Dante was the one losing it.
Ransom says coaches sometimes can't get out of their own way. Hey, Ransom, there is something to that, man. Because you never, we can always say how we would be in the moment, but until you're in that moment, like somebody earlier talked about adding pressure with possessions in the overtime. There's no more pressure left to add, man. Like, this is everything that's on the line for it. But yeah, so that will wrap up the football portion for right now. Detroit Dabber 3-on-3 Comfort Plus is the move. Woodward Reserve. I'll tell you guys this, so Spirit has Buffalo Trace.
Really?
They do.
They do. Peanuts though.
They don't need them when you got Buffalo Trace. That's big, bro.
Yeah, but they probably charge it out the ass for it.
Yeah.
They're
Comfort Plus is free, Kenny. Comfort Plus, you got free drinks, man.
Spirit goes to the point they offer you up a discount if you combo.
Yeah. I do the Comfort Plus, and I tell her, can I get 3 vodkas and an orange juice? Just boom, bang some screwdrivers out real fast. And then just keep it going.
And then just keep it pushing.
Spirit also have you waiting for your flight a whole extra day.
Yeah, they don't have tequila. Spirit doesn't have tequila, which sucks. Because I would definitely do tequila and orange juice. But
all right, what do people think about the Super Bowl being in Vegas, by the way?
I thought it makes sense.
Here's kind of my thought. I lied. I'm going to take this last 2 minutes here because I have a question on the other side of this, if we're allowed to talk about something. Going off personal experience, as we're talking about it now, Flannel. I go to Las Vegas regularly with my buddies. Those two teams look like snaps were bad, fumbles, false starts. They look like teams that have been in Vegas for 6 days. Yeah. They looked like it. And look, I'm not saying they were out partying in the streets or anything like that. It's just something about being there. Like the energy in the town. It cranks you up, dude. It does. And obviously all the media obligations and everything like that. They just look like two teams that have been in Vegas for a week.
Well, you mentioned something on your social media account, which I thought was interesting, talking about the Kansas City Chiefs and their snaps and how there was some similarity to the Alabama center in the Rose Bowl against Michigan. And we're talking about Creed Humphrey. We're not talking about some bum. We're talking about one of the best up-and-coming centers in the league. And yeah, he was throwing some back there that were low. One was fumbled. So whether it has anything to do with Vegas or not, I've never been, so I'm just going to have to take your word for it on that one. But I could see it being that type of environment where players, at least early on in the week, they want to have a little fun. They want to at least enjoy the Vegas experience. But on another hand, though, is it the nature of the 2-week layoff and the Super Bowl in general with all of the nerves? Isn't that conducive to some bad snaps or some penalty or some pre-snap penalties as well?
I would say like 1 or 2, but it was constant. There were constant false starts and constant bad snaps.
Oh yeah, I mean, and bad snaps, as we all know, they disrupt plays. They disrupt rhythms of entire plays. I mean, Jalen Milroe knows all about that. Thank you, by the way. But yeah, that's. And when you mentioned that, it was during the game about the Kansas City Chiefs snaps, and my first thought, like I said before, that's Creed Humphrey. That guy's that's a Pro Bowler. That's not Seth McLaughlin of Alabama, a guy who clearly shouldn't be starting for them. This is Creed Humphrey. We're talking about him as one of the great Brent Veach draft picks that have helped keep this dynasty moving, and even he was struggling bad at times.
That's fair. DNC ENT Vegas was goated the whole weekend out there. Looked like a vibe.
Oh my God, yeah.
And it did seem pretty cool
for the Super Bowl for them.
I do think they need to get Vegas into the, because it's pretty much a steady rotation of New Orleans, Miami,
right,
Vegas, and LA will be putting that mix. I think Vegas needs to be putting that mix too. So
they will.
Yeah,
SoFi's nice, man.
Yeah.
My boys went to SoFi when we played the Rams a couple years ago, and they said it was the best stadium they've ever been in.
Kalamazoo says Super Bowl should be in Detroit once every 5 years. Kalamazoo, I will say this. When it was here, the media people I talked to, like the national media people I talked to, and because you would just run into people at the Detroiter or whatever. Like Hall of Fame weekend's cool, Super Bowl weekend's cool because you never know like who you'll run into at a bar. They said it was low-key great because everything was walkable.
Yeah.
What makes Indianapolis great? Everything is walkable.
Yeah.
They had a lot of love for it, and they didn't care because their hotels were downtown. I know the hotel situation is a little limited in Detroit,
especially back then.
But if you have a hotel room in downtown Detroit, it's pretty tight, man.
Yeah. I guess in Detroit, and this is obvious, the fact that it's so cold outside, or usual years it is. I mean, I remember. Well, I don't remember. I wasn't there, but I've seen old videos about how when they had the Super Bowl at the Pontiac Silverdome, it was the 49ers and Chiefs back in the day. That it was just it was like below zero outside. I would say that but that was also in the middle of Pontiac, so
right.
I don't even know. I don't know why they ever had a Super Bowl there, to be honest.
All right, final comment before we cut to the break. Crazy Clown. Here's the takeaway, everybody. Crazy Clown. The Lions would have beaten both of them last night.
I
feel like it. Yeah.
Their offense. I'm with Sam. I don't know if the Lions defense is holding Kansas City to 3 points in the first half like the Niners did.
The 49ers front was getting pressure all first half long with no blitzing.
Yeah.
I don't know if the Lions could have done that, but
the offense definitely would have been out there.
Absolutely.
They would have had the best offense on the field for sure.
For sure.
Well, anyway you slice it, football season is officially over. Spring training right around the corner. I'm going to ask you guys a question about that when we come back. However, Jack Labrador, that's 24/7, 365. The carousel never stops. Learn how to play on your phone. Go to jacklabrador.gg right now. Give it a spin. 2 new symbols and a franchise-changing 3-point play. And remember, once you go Jack, you never go back. Get it for the family, everybody. The new card game that's sweeping the nation. Go to jacklabrador.gg.
At Planet Fitness, you can get energy without the judgment.
Hi, can you help me with this?
You don't know how to use it?
This is better.
Join now through January 19th for just 24 cents down, $10 a month. Never intimidating, always free fitness training and equipment for every workout. Join today during the Big Fitness Energy Sale for 24 cents down, $10 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal extended through January 19th.
Over 50 Metro Detroit locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
We've just received word. The world's cannabis supply has vanished. The public is outraged and has taken to the streets in response to this tragedy. The individual responsible acted alone, and we can only hope they will make things right soon.
Neal Ruhl here for WoodwardSports.com/shop. You tired of the same old Detroit sports wearables? We got a new thing for you. Go to WoodwardSports.com/shop. The Stoke Not Scared t-shirt, all of them should be out there. My suggestion was I want a t-shirt that says field goals get you beat. Maybe we'll work on that one, see if we can get that one in there, because I'll buy one right now. It's beanie season, it's hoodie season. Act accordingly. WoodwardSports.com/shop. All right, we're coming down the stretch here on a Monday as we begin the non-football odyssey, though let's be real, we'll have a football topic, at least one every show. But with that being said, Spenny asked a question, so I have to ask it. Pitchers and catchers report tomorrow.
Yes, sir.
For informational purposes only, I did take a look yesterday. The Minnesota Twins are a minus 115 favorite to win the division. The Tigers are plus 350.
Really?
Cleveland is plus 350. The White Sox are like plus a bafillion or whatever. Am I crazy to think that that's some decent value on the Tigers?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's decent.
There's like, I think in the end the Twins will win the division, but I am not laying money on them.
Yeah, I wouldn't bet on
No,
it.
you can't lay money on the Twins. And if you want value, you could certainly think the Tigers. I guess with the Tigers, there's some bright spots. Obviously, Riley Green and Spencer Torkelson and even Kerry Carpenter. But there's also some I would say concerns with Riley Green. In both of his first two seasons, he hasn't yet cleared 100 games played, even though last season I thought he was on his way to having a breakout year. And with Spencer Torkelson, I'd like to see that on-base percentage creep up just a little bit to at least above 330 and maybe the OPS over 800. And with Kerry Carpenter, he's got some health concerns as well. And the fact that he was never really supposed to be great, not that he's great, but he was a damn good contributor. I mean, with starting pitching, I worry a little bit about depth. I mean, Tarek Skubal finished the season strong. Matt Manning had a hell of a year. Jack Flaherty, maybe he can find
I like that.
some of his old Cardinals form. Hey, he was a Cy Young candidate for a year or so. He just has really fallen off. And then that bullpen, hopefully that bullpen can stay good.
They were good.
They were good. I mean, Tyler Holton was a star. Jason Foley was big. Will Vest was big. Alex Lang was spotty at times, but he closed some games. So I know that there's some worries about this Tigers team, certainly with lineup depth. I would say starting pitching depth to some degree. And, of course, you always have to factor in injuries because all of the prospects have had them. But this is a weak division. This is a weak AL Central. So the Tigers, I could see them at the very least being in it until damn near the end and maybe even steal it. Because in a lot of ways, Spencer Torkelson, Riley Green, and Kerry Carpenter have showed a lot of promise. They just need to clean some things up. And when it comes to specifically Riley Green, just don't have another fluke injury. Easier said than done, but that's been a problem with Riley Green. It just has.
Man, I'm stunned by you guys in the chat right now. Like they exploded. I thought people were just going to be like, yeah.
They need something to root for because I mean the Pistons are horrible right now. That's the next best thing is the Tigers coming up. So
Red Wings are in the Red Wings.
I think by far it's the Red Wings.
Yeah.
Like if they don't go to the playoffs,
it'll look bad.
I'll be upset, man.
Yeah.
For real. I'll for real
What's
be
this,
upset.
Year 5 of the Iser plan?
What's that?
I said, is this year 5 of the Iser plan?
I say 4 because the first year in,
was a wash.
He had to pay Justin Abdelkader and Franz Nielsen like $13, $14 million to not play. Yeah. So, a lot like Brad Holmes, year 1 was really year -1.
Right.
I'm excited for baseball, man.
Yeah, me too.
I want to know, can we talk about it? Like, are the people cool with it? Steven Syrett can't wait to see Colt Keith's progress. Jeremy Anderson, Tigers winning the Central, I guarantee it. Plus 350 then. Get it in now.
I would put some schmeckles on that.
Yeah.
Dan Wood, Sam probably a Royals fan.
Oh no.
Oh, yeah,
You better not be.
No, that's tough times.
That
right
Royals team was fun to watch.
I
though.
hated the Royals though.
When they were good. Alex
Hosmer.
Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Jeff Francoeur, Hosmer, Moustakas.
They were like a regular guys
Lorenzo
team.
Cain.
Yeah.
Salvador Perez.
Yeah, Salvi. I remember Alex Gordon and Jeff Francoeur would just hose people from the outfield.
Matt says Tigers all day, best pitching in the division. Wow. Matt also said Meadows in center field solves the Riley issue. You know what though? It's time for Riley Green to play 150 games.
Yeah.
Am I being obtuse to quote Andy Dufresne?
No, absolutely not. No, he hasn't played. He has yet to play 100 games in a season, and it's been this. It's been these fluky kind of injuries, like the broken foot in his first year, where I believe he got a foul ball off of it and continued to play, and nobody knew he was hurt. Then all of a sudden, he's out for the first part of the season. And last year, I believe it was a stress fracture. Mm-hmm. So, Riley Green. The problem is that out of all of the players, he's the one that I think has showed the most, even though Spencer Torkelson had a 30 home run season. But Riley Green, to me, is a guy that could be a star in this league. I know his power numbers are left a little bit to be desired, but you know what that man does more than anything in the world? To quote one of my favorite movies of all time, Moneyball, he just gets on base.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He's an on base. It's huge.
Yeah.
That's real.
Yeah. Here's my issue, though. The Roar 24, Tarek Skubal's a Cy Young candidate if he has a healthy year. And then when we talk about the rotation, Maeda, how many innings, honestly, do you expect for the man?
For Maeda?
Yeah, not a lot.
$120.
You see what I'm saying, though? That's realistic. What other pitching people are we talking about?
Reese Olson.
Oh, yeah, Reese Olson.
He looked pretty damn good at the end of the year last year. Mize can be back, hopefully.
Every time we say a name, we follow it with if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
And you know how these health parlays work.
That's true.
You know the success rate of the health parlays. They all seem to have a George Kittle over 25 yards in them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, last season, even though they both showed a lot of promise, particularly Skubal at the end, Matt Manning and Tarek Skubal didn't have healthy seasons. I mean, Casey Mize, you don't know really what you're going to get from him. And as a little side note about Casey Mize versus Tarek Skubal, isn't it kind of crazy to think that you would think that Skubal was the #1 overall pick, because to me he's a lot nastier than a Casey Mize. He's a lefty.
I don't know, man. Mize's splitter is probably the best pitch on the Tigers rotation,
and that's fair. It's just that
when that thing's working, that's one of the best pitches in baseball.
Nah, when it's working, and hopefully in the Tommy John surgery, pitchers come back better from it all the time. So I could definitely see that happening with Mize. But with every single one of their star pitchers, injuries has been a concern, because it is with almost every young star pitcher. It's unfortunate.
So that's really my only point for everybody to kind of tap the brakes a little bit. I struggle with the fact that we're a third baseman away right now. Right now, I am of the opinion, if you write the check for a third baseman, you become the favorite to win this division.
Yeah.
And are you going to win a World Series? No. But get in.
Yeah.
Like you could win a series. I could see
because anybody can win a series in baseball. Yeah. Anybody. And with that being said, go win a division. Do you know what that buys you for the organization? You know what that buys you? Here's what I'll tell you that it buys you. Because someone in the chat tried to trigger me earlier, and I forget who it was, but wanted to bring up the fact that Almago reported to camp early. I don't care that he reported to camp early. And yes, I'm blowing the dust off this bit because it's still true. I don't care that Almago came back a week early, a month early, a year early, none of it. You want to show me it changed, Almago? Don't swing at a ball that's 3 feet outside.
Seriously,
for the 112th time this year. Don't do that. Don't strike out 11 out of 13 at bats. Here's an idea, hit a home run. Try that too. Here's an idea. Don't get 29 errors in a year.
Just get on base.
Try that. Do something. Do something, Almago, because you're the highest paid player on the team right now. Act like it.
The first time I see him swinging a slider 2 feet out of the zone, I'm going to break something.
Well, then I hope you got a lot of breakable shit around your house.
Ready for it.
Because the resume says it's going to happen often.
Catchers don't even line up in the box with him. They just it's so bad.
2 feet off the plate every time.
So bad.
It's so sad, too, because you have to shout out Scotty Harris, because this team was a lot better, and you see some promise. And they were a lot better despite Javier Baez being objectively the worst everyday player in baseball and getting a lot of playing time at the shortstop position. So, shout out the Tigers for injecting some life into their franchise and Scotty Harris looking like he's the man for the job. But the fact that they were able to even win as much as they did, which I believe was 77 or 78 games, despite Javier Baez being terrible, I guess in and of itself that's
you know
an
what?
accomplishment.
While we're at it too, here's another idea. Let's not start 2-10.
Yeah.
Can we do that for once?
Yes.
Can we not be 2-10 to start? How about 4-7?
Yeah.
What about 5-6? 6-5 even. How
That's
about
so
that?
true. Yeah. They will look great for the first 3 games and then just go on a shit streak.
Because they were above 500, I believe, from like April 28th on for like the rest of the year. But guess what? You can't win the division in April, but you can lose it, and they did. And they were never a factor.
And I'll tell you what, like Colt Keith looks like he's good. You bring him up, you start him. He should start the year with the Tigers this year for sure. Max Clark. That kid's going to be a superstar.
Yeah, that's
you planted your flag.
He is going to be a superstar.
I keep hearing that.
He does everything. He's a literal 5-tool player. Him, Austin Meadows, and Riley Green out there, or just him and Riley Green, or just him and Austin Meadows, you don't even need a third outfielder. Like, that kid can cover so much ground in center. Oh, man. I can't wait for him to come. It's probably going to be a year or two, but that kid's going to be a superstar when he gets to the league.
Parker,
yeah. Yeah, Austin Meadows is being a sad boy somewhere.
Hey, speaking of guys who showed some promise last year and hopefully get some more run this year.
Oh, he should be center fielder day one.
Absolutely.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. Mike G. Spenny, any update on the 9 footlongs, 9 beers over 9 innings?
Not footlongs, but I'm down to do it. I didn't even go to a Tigers game last year. I'm down to do it.
We do have to do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We do. We got to find
it this year.
Opening day is my favorite day of the year.
Yes,
So
it is.
you
are in your bag, as the
I
kids
do
say.
very well on opening day.
A man like Spenny does very well downtown.
I've signed
Let's just leave
hits
it
the
like
past
that.
2 years in a row. So
Let's make it 3.
Trying to go 3 for 3.
Yeah.
The Roar of 24. Why do the Pistons get respect but not the Tigers? Well, the Roar of 24, here's why. Because the Pistons, no matter the state that they're in right now, have won what? 3 of the last 36 NBA championships?
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah. More recent than the Tigers.
More recent than the Tigers. 1984, everybody. 40 years. 40 years since they won a World Series. That's why Roar of 24.
Less franchises than you think have won 3 NBA championships.
Yeah.
We'll just say that too. It's rarefied air.
Pistons
Even though
still
they
in the
suck
top
now.
10, I believe. They still in the top 10 of most
absolutely.
championships. Yeah.
Absolutely they are.
Yeah,
That's why Roar of 24, because they've done things. They've won a championship in the era of high-definition television. I remember watching it in high def.
I mean, off the top of my head, Spurs, Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Warriors. I can't think of anyone else that I'm missing, but those are 5 that have won more. But other than that, I can't think of any off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Have the Rockets?
Rockets have 3, I think, too. So
Rex says Baez coming to the plate. Anytime somebody says Baez, I'm just going to change it to El Mago. Is that do we ratify that? Do we approve?
Fair, yeah.
That is fine.
El Mago coming to the plate is like in slow pitch when the dude wearing a white T-shirt and cargo shorts, it comes up.
Hey.
Just go ahead and bring the outfield in.
No, it goes one way or the other. Either that guy sucks or he's hitting nukes. It's one way or the
facts.
other.
It's true. It's true.
Lady Jane's?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Do it.
Absolutely. Come to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience. Register to win a trip of your dreams and all expenses paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament, a place where Michigan will not be. That's right. No expense spared for you and 5 of your best buds. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids, all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Come to any Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men for an award-winning haircut experience from one of our talented stylists and register for a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to win an all-expenses-paid suite for the 2024 NCAA tournament for you and 5 of your best buds. That's right, college basketball's most elite event. You and your 5 best friends just get to any Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically register to win the trip of your dreams. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men, open 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. All right, final segment of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Wrapped up the Super Bowl. We're ready to go. He's Sam Flannel. I'm Neal Ruhl. KG is here. Spenmo Rax is here. We'll get into the Red Wings tomorrow. D-Mac will be back, and we'll, because they do deserve to be talked about because they're the next playoff team here.
Mm-hmm.
They are. And remember how fun that was with the Lions? And I'm not saying it's going to rival that, but just the juice of the NHL play. We've forgotten about the NHL playoff. The NHL playoffs are great.
Yep.
They're great.
No, I would absolutely break the bank for a playoff ticket at LCA. At least for one game, 100% I would.
Yeah, me too.
WoodwardSports.com chat thread. I'd be remiss if I didn't bring this one up from our guy Michael Daniel. A lefty at first would help, Neal. Yeah, so anytime you put that in there, I'm going to read it every single day. Because I dismiss it, but I respect you because you're not to be denied. He stands on business.
That's true.
Left-handed first baseman. KG, you can't deny the man.
Nah, man. Let him have it.
Let him have it. I will. Absolutely. The Roar 24. See how the Tigers get mocked, but the Pistons never did until they lost 28 straight games. Win championships.
Right.
Win championships, namely in the era of high-definition television.
Yeah, and the team that I was missing was the Miami Heat. They won 1 with Wade and then 2 with LeBron being the best player. So that, but it's like 6 teams in the last however many years that have won as many or more than the Detroit Pistons. It's not. It's the list is smaller than you think.
Yeah, it's hard to win the NBA.
Yep.
It is. You have to. You either have to trade everybody and assemble it, or you have to get a bounce.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the way that it goes. Hoof-hearted. Next 2 Wings games at Edmonton, at Vancouver. 2 points would be huge. Yes, it would. Big win for them this weekend. By the way, they were dead in the water.
Yeah.
Yep.
They were dead in the water, and they beat Vancouver. I think Vancouver is going to have a turn here in the second half, but that's just me. 40 Gumble. Neal, I'm very thankful that Avila signed El Mago to that monster deal. Sincerely, Jordan Zimmerman.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Oh, Danny G, thank you for bringing this up. Neal, you're a legend, in all caps. Won me a fair chunk of change with that Michigan over Wisconsin bet. Yep. The people are welcome.
That was a good one.
Yeah. Sam Flannel even propped me out on that one privately.
That was unbelievable.
Yeah,
MSU, big dub.
I said you was wrong on the show. I got to give you your props.
Yeah,
you
so
was
did
right.
I.
You just wasn't here.
Spot game.
The day it happened. But
Big dub for MSU.
It was, but it gives me pause because it was at home.
Still.
You know, I got to see him win a big game on the road.
It's quad 1 win.
Oh, I know, it is. Don't worry. I already told you.
That cemented them, like...
A 7?
Yeah, they're not going to be a first 4 in team now. Or last 4 in. Like...
Well, they could be in that 11 line.
I think they'll... But not like... They're not going to be in one of those playing games now. I think they'll be...
Well, one of the playing games is an 11 matchup, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, they're still in that
I think they'll
space.
get just a straight bid, though, after that.
Yeah, and they will. And they'll play the 5th best team for the Mountain West.
Yeah.
You can already pencil it in.
And then they'll be in the same bracket as fucking Duke or Kentucky. Like
Well, that's when you're a 7. That's the way it works.
Yeah. So when we're a 3, we still get in the same bracket as Duke. That shit pisses me off, man.
Yeah. You guys need to look at it. If there's a way to bet that, like Michigan State facing the 5th team from the Mountain West, go ahead and take it, because it will be there. WoodwardSports.com chat, the real cream of wheat. Pity those that doubt the greatness that is Neal Two Furnace Ruhl. I know. Well, hey, I've been charged with overseeing the youth of America, I guess. So maybe I don't stand on business about that.
It's a tough job, man.
Yeah.
The youth of the nation.
All right, that's enough before Spenny keeps singing. All right, that'll do it for today. We'll be back at it tomorrow. D-Mac will be back in the chair. We will talk some hockey. I'm sure a football story will pop up there as well. We'll talk Lions free agency or draft or cap. I haven't decided which one of the 3. I'll get on the treadmill tomorrow and decide. All right? Cool?
Fair.
Sounds good.
Yep.
From the Planet Fitness Studios. For Spencer Raxter, KG, and of course my co-host Sam Flannel, my name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for tapping in to Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.